I think it's, the person on my last interview said, if one person can listen to this and learn something, then that's good. I mean, I don't know what else we can hope for.
Yeah, I hope some people do hear your podcast. That would be nice. And I don't know. It seems like people will have their opinion about the registry and probably wouldn't be searching for the other side of it. But I mean, you could hope that they do hear that
That's
stumble.
that's right. Well, and here's what's okay. Since I've been making media so long, one of the things I've learned is we're used to looking in the rearview mirror. We're
Yeah.
not used to looking forward. It's hard. You can't see the future.
Yeah.
But what we do know about the future is there's a lot more registrants in the future.
Yeah.
And when America, and that's why I called it Registered America, because when America reaches this, I don't know, are we going to hit 5 million registered sex offenders? We might.
I don't
We
know how
might
many
hit.
there are. I've actually wanted to look
Okay.
into that. And
So there's about 1 million right now.
that's insane.
But it's accelerating because laws are getting harder and people, well, technology, it's weird. Technology is kind of killing us on this. It's killing us in many areas, AI and whatever. And I'm not trying to debate AI.
Oh yeah.
But because of technology and cell phones and cameras, the ability to distribute child pornography has accelerated. Meaning, I'm not talking about infants and toddlers. As long as the law considers them a minor, it's considered CP. So
Yeah.
if you, right, not you, but if somebody and their girlfriend in high school exchange nude selfies and then someone shares it, that's actually distribution of child pornography,
Yep.
which is
And that
totally
is
ridiculous.
so crazy.
That is not the
They could
purpose.
both be on the registry for that.
That's right, and that has nothing to do with the purpose of the law. So
No.
why are we doing this to people? It doesn't, and I don't think people are asking the question. They're just assuming that there's millions of child pornographers, which is also ridiculous. There are
Yeah.
not millions of child pornographers. There's just
Yeah.
not.
And I don't even think that they're thinking about it that way. Like, people probably don't even know that that is a possibility to get on the registry for. They think that it's just child molesters, and
That
that's it.
that's correct. And in fact, we know this is true because I had a guy say to me one time, I told my story, and this guy worked in security, and he said, "You need to get off that child molester list."
Oh my
And
gosh.
I said, "Yeah, I know."
Yeah.
Like,
And
and it was
it's
a
I
stark
don't even think
reality
you can
because
get off.
everybody's assuming you're a child molester if you're on
Mhm.
the list.
Yes, absolutely.
And
That
that's
is exactly what they assume no matter what.
and yet, and I'm watching YouTube videos now from body cam footage just within the past 2 years. I was watching one today, body cam footage from last year of a guy. He was working as a massage therapist, was accused of inappropriate behavior, and I think he probably did engage in inappropriate behavior. But they were adults. He's not a child pornographer, but he's going to
Yeah.
go on the list
Why?
because it's a sex crime. Everything's a sex crime now. If you and it's sexual assault, see, this gets into the laws. Sexual assault, sexual battery, any form of possible sex crime can get you on the sex offender registry because
Yeah.
that's what prosecutors are doing. And
And they're very
prosecutors,
hard on it. They're very hard
they're
on it.
ridiculously hard, and people have no idea what happened. So when the massage therapist I just talked about, he's already in prison.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, he's serving many years of prison for an inappropriate massage therapy session. Now, granted, full disclosure, there were two other complaints. So clearly he was developing a problem with his massage therapy. But is he a registered sex offender? Come on.
That's
We're here for child molesters, not massage therapists, people.
yeah,
I mean, that's a total misapplication of the original law, which is why
yeah.
when we hear that like what Jacob's law, what are some of the classic grandfather laws,
I
Adam's
actually
law.
don't know of those laws, and
Okay, right.
I kind of wouldn't mind learning like a lot more about how this whole thing works because I need to learn how to navigate it, and I would like to know if there's anything I can do to try to help with a reform of this. Because I feel there's so many victims that are on the registry, and I'd like to help however I can too.
Yeah. Well, I think that
Till he
I'm
comes.
glad I mean, it's nice to hear that because I think that what has happened to much of the registered community, and again, this scares people that registrants are somehow talking. It is now a community. It's right, it's this community of like rejects. In fact, the island of misfit toys from the Christmas special, it's ironic because we are an island of misfit toys.
But you almost have to be because you are on this list. You can't find housing, so you have to have a bunch of money so that you could buy a house, but you can't get a job. And like, so pretty much you can't get a job, you can't live anywhere. Like, what are you supposed to do? You have to connect with other people to try to even survive. And if you have to have a community of people that will back you up. I feel bad. Like James has me and he has so many friends for when he's home, but not everyone has that. And I like he sent me people that he was incarcerated with. When they get out, he'll tell them just to message me and like keep me up to date, see how they're doing. And they can't find jobs and they have to do like their therapies and stuff. So they can't even really get a job because they have to be in this therapy twice a week. They can't buy a car because they're just incarcerated. Like, how are they going to afford that? They can't live anywhere. No one's going to take them on a background check. There's you can't live.
So you are pointing out some of the major problems. And again, I realize, and we've already started the recording, we're in it now, is that if you're listening and you're hearing this and you're not part of the registered community, you're probably thinking you belong there. Was it worth it? You did this to yourself. The truth, though, is that with the amount of negative impact of being on the registry, I from what I've gleaned, two-thirds of the community doesn't deserve this level of punishment.
Absolutely
Like
not.
being unable to get a house or a job or a car and not be trapped in constant therapy, which is totally debatable whether that's even working, or the fact that every time you change anything, you got to go back in, you got to give it to them. If you don't do it within what 3 days, I mean, we're talking every time. It's amazing the number of things that change in our lives just because that's how life is. But the registration unit expects you to come in every single time, and you can't make an appointment. You got to go in and sit there all day. And if you got to sit there all day, you can't make it to any job. If you were to even be able to get a job, you're probably not going to make it to therapy. You're never going to see your kids. It is absolutely crazy.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
And why? For what? In this case, let's go to your case. You're talking about your husband
Mhm.
over 10 years ago, 10 plus years ago, was in high school. The
Yes.
girl he was dating was under 18. He
Yeah.
turned 18, and then I guess something happened.
So, they were both in high school. They were dating. Whenever he turned 18, he was on the fire department for years, and someone told him that because he was now 18, that he could get in trouble for dating this girl. So he went to her and she said she did the research. There's a 4-year age gap, which is legal. If it's within 4 years, then she is old enough to consent to it. So he thought, like, no, like, we need to break this off. I don't want to get in trouble. So she was upset that he broke it off. He started seeing someone else a few months later, and she was not okay with that. She told him if that she can't have him, that nobody can, and she turned him in. And it turns out that it was 4 years and 3 months age gap. So he had to go to court for it. He was in high school, could not continue to fight it because he didn't have the money to keep paying for a lawyer. So ultimately, they said, you don't have to do jail time, but you have to be on Megan's Law for 15 years. And at this point, after the trial and everything, or not, I guess not the trial, but the court hearings, he was 19 when that was all over with. So he started registering when he was 19. And yeah, it's just been
That is such a
absolutely horrible.
terrible story.
It's a consensual relationship
Unbelievable.
between two teenagers. The district attorney told him if he would have kept fighting, the district attorney would have dropped it, but he couldn't keep fighting. He ran out of money. So
Of
he
course.
was 3 months too old, or that girl was 3 months too young. So he has a 15-year sentence over his head for 3 months. Age.
You know what's interesting, I want to take this moment too, because again, if you're part of, especially, that's one of the things too, we also talk about the wood chippers and the vigilantes, the people that have no fucking idea what they're talking
Yeah.
about. you know um we go to these moments in court, and these moments in court are so stressful and crazy and expensive, and you feel like when you really are trapped in the system, because like this, I'm glad you said that about the DA. I happen to know what you mean. I also heard a judge say to a prosecutor, "You're not going to register this man, right?" And the prosecutor said, "Oh yeah, we are." Like, why that moment? Why do you have to be such a dick? It's
Hmm.
clear. This case is clear. He's in the fire department. He tried to do the right thing. And I want to add this too, is that I believe that we have taught a gender that to overplay the victim card. That girl was taught by the system, by society, however we want to phrase it, that she could have her revenge on this man. For what?
Because she couldn't have him.
Yeah. And I believe that. That's the society we live in.
Yeah. Um, he had to live on the registry for, I mean, he's 27 now, and he, luckily he's a carpenter, so he has that trade and he's really good at it. So he's been able to make a decent living that way. He had a daughter, was very involved in her life. um, he and his daughter's mom were together for 4 years after his daughter was born, and then they broke up. She actually broke up with him, but they still co-parented very well. He had his daughter most of the time, took her to daycare every day, picked her up, and then him and I started dating, and she was very jealous of that. So within a few months, she took him off the daycare list, told them that he was on the registry, that he couldn't be in that school, it wasn't safe. After taking her for 4 years and picking her up for 4 years, now it's not safe. Now she's using that against him. Kept their daughter away, told him that he would have to go to court if he wanted to see her. Then she turned him in to like Megan's Law website because on his registry, he did not remove his old address. He lived with his parents, moved to another house, moved back in with his parents. He didn't remove the address whenever he moved back, and he had to go to court for that. They drug it out for 2 years and they put him in prison for failure to register. They found him whenever she turned him in, and the detective tried to contact him, found him within that same day. They found him because he is self-employed and his self-employment address is the house that he was living in. So they didn't explain it well enough that when you move back to an old residence, you have to re-register, and you also have to remove an old residence. Like, you have to take it off. So he's now incarcerated for 2 years. He's been in there for 2 years. And while he was gone, him and I got married. Hopefully when he comes home, because we have a child together, I want him to be able to hopefully live with us. I know that there's going to be hoops that he's going to have to jump through, therapy and getting his parole officer to approve that. And honestly, he might not be able to live with us till he's off parole. But that same ex, his daughter's mom, was upset that we got married. and she went and changed their daughter's name, took him to court to change her name while he was in prison because he's on the registry. That was her reasoning. So,
So what's interesting is you just validated 2 points I made about 5 minutes ago. One, we've enabled
yep,
a gender in this society to take revenge
yep,
willy-nilly for no reason. And number
absolutely.
two, I just talked about updating information. It is impossible to
It's impossible.
satisfy. It's impossible to satisfy the government on every little detail. I mean, and here's the thing. I know, I've read the headlines, such and such, failure to register, didn't give a prior address. It is so fucking easy
Mm-hmm.
to mess up somebody's form and not put a street address or a phone number or whatever. And why? Here's the thing. Why? They already know how, you said it. They know how to find him. If he had
Mm-hmm.
committed a crime, they know how to find him. He didn't commit a
Absolutely.
crime. It's
He,
asinine.
yep, the detective said that he realized that this was a mistake. If he just comes in, they could get it figured out and they'd let
Yes.
it go.
Yes.
The district attorney said, no, we are gonna persecute him.
Yes.
So they charged him, and we had to spend all our money in lawyers. We just had a new baby, and he's been gone since she was 1. She's now 3. He's been gone for 2 years. It's
And I know what you're saying. I have actually seen this where a detective says, it's okay, come in, fix it, and the DA's a fucking dick.
yeah, it was a girl, and she was absolutely terrible. I don't
Oh
know
my
who she
God.
thought she was protecting.
It's
I don't
funny you
know who
say
she
that
thought.
because I have had the female prosecutors I have met are worse than
They're
demons. Oh my
horrible.
God. Even my lawyer was like, oh my God, they're like the undead.
No.
Why? What is the problem? Well, so here it is. Because we have created sex offender is probably some of the most genius marketing ever.
Yep.
Because it sounds so horrible.
Yeah, it does. You could kill somebody, and you're not on a lifetime registry. You if you could be like selling drugs and killing people with these drugs, and you're not on a registry for that.
You're
But that
you're good. Yeah. You're
but
good.
you when you turn your life around, people are cheering for you. People are happy for you. When you're on the registry and you turn your life around, you rehabilitate and do everything that they say you're supposed to be doing, you're still on that registry. People still look down on you. You're still labeled. You still can't get a job. When my daughter, when she was a baby, she had RSV, and we had to take her to Children's Hospital. Her oxygen was really low, and
Pertussis? Pertussis?
I think it was
RSV? Or a
it was
different
RSV
anyways.
and some
Okay.
other stuff.
Okay.
But he brought us to the hospital, and he was there. He came in through the emergency room with us. When he left to go home and shower and come back, they wouldn't let him in because they do a background check on you
Yeah.
as a visitor. And he was there for a day or two, and then he couldn't get back in. And the security guard felt the need to come up, call me out of the hospital room with my daughter, and tell me himself that James wasn't allowed in because he was on the registry. And I'm like, you think I don't know that?
There you go. And that's the problem, is that it's not just what people think, but now, and everything's getting more electronic and there's cameras everywhere, that not only will registrants not be able to function, but they won't be allowed anywhere. And what, you know, I've said this recently. If you want to see a registrant self destruct, keep doing what you're doing.
Exactly. You're isolating him from right now. He's going to be isolated from me. He won't be allowed to have a relationship with me, his wife, because I have children. I have minor children. So he is not going to be allowed to be in a relationship with anyone with minor children. When he comes home, he won't be able to talk to his own kids. They're isolating him.
And let's go back to the original charge. He was dating a girl in high school who just the law said was too far from his age. So now as he moves into manhood, everyone's going to treat him like he's not safe around toddlers, which is
Yep.
absolutely ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. And luckily, he has a huge group of friends because of his character and just who he is. People love him. He has so many friends, and they all have young kids. Like, we've had one of his best friends is a local police officer, and then his wife is a elementary school teacher. and they've dropped their kids off to him to watch them while he was on, like, while I had him bailed out of jail from this charge, failure to register, because they needed a babysitter and they trust him. They trust him with their kids.
He's
But
fine. He's a
but
normal
people that don't
person.
know him, yeah, he's fine. People that
He
don't
is.
know him, like, they would. I'm nervous for when my kids start school. Are they gonna? Is someone gonna say, "Oh, he's on Megan's Law"? Like, why is he in the school? And people do that. And there's these little Facebook
Oh
pages
my God.
everywhere.
The groups and the wood chippers, but yes, the schools. So that's another thing. When you go to a school, and now with all the amped up, resource officers and systems, schools are thinking something that they don't need to think.
No.
You, this guy is fine to go to a parent teacher conference. There's nothing wrong with him.
Yep.
He's probably safer than the douchebag down the hall yelling at his kids.
Yep. Mm, it's so crazy. I actually I have a son from a previous relationship, and when I started dating James, my son's dad was just upset about it, and he found out about James being on the Megan's Law, and he brought it up, and I said, "Yeah, I know. It happened in high school." And my son's dad was actually a bit older than me. I was like, I actually feel like this relationship's would be more of a big deal than him dating a high schooler when he was in high school.
Oh, I'm sure it
Oh,
is. I'm sure.
I'm not sure why you're even bringing it up. And he tried to take me for full custody, being that my boyfriend at the time was on Megan's Law. We had to go to court. We had to go to custody court, and the judge said, "You're telling me that you're worried about this man who dated a teenager while he was a teenager?" And she was like, "Absolutely not. There's no restrictions, and you're not getting full custody." So there was some sort of justice there. At least that one judge saw that this is absolutely insane, but it doesn't always go like that.
It does not. But yet, and I've said this on other podcasts, judges are some of the only people left with any sense.
Oh yeah.
Thank God for judges.
Our judge, when he was found guilty for failure to register, was so visibly upset that he was found guilty, and like so upset. He just knew that it wasn't right. He couldn't even say the guilty verdict. Like, he had such a hard time. You could tell he was just like choked up.
Yep.
And he said there's absolutely nothing that he can do legally, because there's a mandatory minimum for failure to register. He has to give him at least the minimum.
And that's right. The judge has to follow the law. And the prosecutors know this. That's why they know. Prosecutors know they can be dicks.
Cool.
Another thing, so this person that you were just talking about, so in this, just talking out, that's 3 people that have been enabled by our society to treat people with this label as if they're total trash.
And
That's
knowing that they're not trash too,
yeah,
just
and they
holding it
know
over his
exactly.
head.
They know it. In fact, there's many people in this story that know that your
Absolutely.
husband is fine.
And after this whole thing, he was like, "Yeah, I was just trying to use that against you," and acted like it was a game. He's like, "Oh, you won." I'm like, "This is not a game. This is our
Yeah.
lives." And he actually liked James so much that whenever he was in jail for the failure to register, before his sentencing, when you have the period where you can bail them out, he actually gave me the money to bail him out, because he knows that he was such a good dad and a good stepdad. And he used that word, my son's stepdad. And I'm like, yeah, like, everyone that knows him knows he's fine, but he has this registry that he has to live with until, which by the way is paused while he's incarcerated. So his 15-year registration will be 17 years
Wow.
now.
It's paused while he's in prison.
Yep.
Wow. Isn't that just a wonderful little bonus?
Yep. And I wish there was
Wow.
something that we could do, but there's really no fighting it. I saw something on the news a few months ago that was like, you could go, they have this new thing where you could petition to have your crimes expunged, or
Okay, so let's talk about that. So I know a little bit about this as well. And what I've learned is every state is different. And if you go from one state to another state, it gets really complicated.
okay.
So I don't know what state he was registered in, Is it the
We're in
same state?
Pennsylvania.
Okay, so it's the same state you're in now.
Yes.
Okay, that's good. I mean, it's not great, but it's better than registered in Pennsylvania, moved to Arizona. That
Yeah.
gets really messy. Okay, so next to find out is what are the laws in Pennsylvania as far as registry removal? Every state has a I don't know if it's a law or what it is, a statute, but about this. Many states do not allow for registry removal. Many states
Wow.
do. They're all different. So what you have to do is, and the thing is, this too. As a layperson, we're not attorneys, and when we try to research laws and statutes, it gets complicated quickly.
Yes, and then
I
if you try to talk to a lawyer for advice, they want you to hire them and pay them $10,000
Yes,
when there's nothing that they can do anyways, and they don't answer your questions.
that is correct. And some of them will say they can help you, and then they find out they actually can't
Oh,
because this is so difficult.
I cashed out my 401k
There you go.
and used the money to pay a lawyer to
Yep.
petition this failure to register. And he said that he would definitely have something that he can petition. I was like, well, how do you know that? Like, you haven't read the case. He's like, I know that I'll find something. I was like, okay, what if you don't find anything that you can petition? He said, then I will send you your money back. He got the court transcript, read it, said that he can file a petition against the lawyer did not fight for de minimis, saying it's like such a small infraction and he wasn't actually hurting anybody by doing it. So it shouldn't have even been a charge. And um, he charged me to go and petition this case for de minimis. And then come to find out, it was in the transcript that the original lawyer, did fight for de minimis. And he was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, it didn't work out the way that we wanted it to, but you can't have your money back because I tried to petition it." And I was like, "Well, there was no petition. You said the lawyer didn't fight for de minimis, and he did. So there's nothing to petition, and you knew that, and you're taking my money." And he didn't help me with any of my other questions.
So I also know what it's like to give money to a lawyer and not see any result. Although a lawyer, I think, will say that that's a retainer and there's no guarantee of outcome. At the same time, I also want to call attention to we're talking about this de minimis thing, which I'm not even familiar with. And this is how hard it is to navigate the law because the law is full of these terms of art and procedures. It is beyond a normal person. And
Absolutely.
actually, I think prosecutors are counting on registrants and their families to be completely unable to combat the bullshit that they spray in
It,
court.
it's like a different language, and you don't know what they're saying. You don't know what they're talking about. It's absolutely insane.
And
It's not. They don't use common sense or logic when it comes
no,
to
no,
any of these
it's just
cases.
legal shit. And the thing is too, I always say this on a podcast for law enforcement officers that are doing a good job and actually are maybe have empathy. I'm sorry, but there are plenty of corrections officers that are total assholes too. And in
Horrible.
fact, they're going to go on to a different job in a few years. But what they've laid waste to is all these people that really don't belong on the registry.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You try to go to court. Let's talk about petitioning a little bit more. So yes, I would say here's what the nice thing about AI, and I've actually learned that Grok. You ever heard of Grok?
I have. I'm starting to learn a little bit more about AI, and I've been getting
Right.
some ideas in my head. Like maybe the
Exactly.
AI could be my lawyer.
AI can be your lawyer to a
Oh, I
certain
love to
degree.
hear it.
So Grok doesn't care if you type sex offender.
Okay.
Okay, but some of them do care. If you say shit like that in ChatGPT, it won't respond, which is interesting. I think tells us also something about society and where we're headed. But in
Yeah.
Grok, you can type. So in Grok, type it in. I live in Pennsylvania. My husband, now don't get specific, of course. But
Yeah.
my husband's registered in Pennsylvania. How can he, and do that? And I think Grok will help you learn and navigate some of the statutes about registration removal because I really don't know what it is. Some states have a tiered registry, tier one, tier two, tier three.
Yeah, so he's tier 1, so it's the lowest.
There you go. See? And now, what do you know if it was misdemeanor or felony?
His original charge was a misdemeanor. It's
There you
actually a
go.
charge that does not land you on the registry.
There you go.
But
That's right.
the person that was the prosecutor was pushing for the registry. So they said, even
Yeah,
though
that's
it's going
right.
to be a misdemeanor, this is not a Megan's Law crime. You need to
Yeah.
go on Megan's Law.
Yeah,
So
exactly. And because
misdemeanor,
he didn't need to be registered,
yes.
but the
And
law
then,
allowed that.
well, the failure to register is a felony. So
See,
now he's a
exactly.
violent
Now,
criminal. He cannot
yeah.
own a gun and
So
everything.
will he go up a tier when he gets out?
No, they.
Okay, good.
I did look into this, and he was worried about it because he heard something about that as well.
Yeah.
And the only way that you can go up a tier is if they, in court, when he was found guilty, they would have had to say that he was going up a tier then, but they can't bump him up a tier while he's incarcerated. Like,
So I'm going to tell you something. I know that if you move some states, if you move from one state to another, they just bump you up a tier just to be nice.
yeah, I didn't know that, but I'm learning these things. I've heard
So
Florida is the
don't
absolute
yeah,
worst place to
Florida
ever
is death. Do not go to Florida. Yeah.
Like, if you go
Everybody's
to Florida, you have to go yearly to register or something in your lifetime.
well, you're even after you die, they're going to keep you registered in Florida. Apparently, that's the word is getting out. Like that's insane. Um,
Yes.
Now, listen, checking in once a year is fine, but I don't know all the reasons Florida is so hyper. I'm still trying to learn about it, but apparently I heard New York is really bad too. I think Arizona's pretty rough.
Oh, wow.
Anyways, don't leave Pennsylvania. If he's a tier 1, it's a misdemeanor. Theoretically, it's 10, 15 years. The problem is, and it sucks that the clock stopped while during his failure to register. That whole thing that's such bullshit.
Yeah, it's horrible.
It is just stupid. But when he reaches his 10 to 15 years, this is the thing, society. You don't automatically get off. You have to
Really?
petition. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know that.
It's a whole process. But the gates do open when you reach your 10 to 15, assuming the state law is what you think it is, the gates open and then you go through the process, which is still long and crazy.
Pretty
And
expensive too.
the thing is, the petitioning process itself, I don't think is incredibly expensive.
Oh, good,
But the
good.
trap doors of law enforcement are still there. They don't want you to go.
That's it. That's crazy.
I know. Listen, I don't mean to be such a downer, but even like I know, like some highway patrol, they're like, yeah, this needs to be easier because we need to let some of these people go when they're
Yeah,
done. Most other things, they let you go when you're done. Rehab, they let you go. Drunk driving, they let you
yeah.
go. Killing somebody, they let you go. But this one, they don't want to see you go. I don't know why. I don't know if it's bad for.
It's so easy to get someone in trouble again that's on the registry, and I have found that the prisons make a lot of money by people being in prison.
And maybe that's why they don't want you to go.
I don't know.
And I know, again, that's really tough for some people to accept because they want to believe that everybody belongs in prison. But anybody who spent any time in jail or prison realizes there's a lot of people in there that really shouldn't be there. Maybe they should have done a little bit of time, maybe a month, 6 months, but not like 35 years. It's
Yeah,
just really dumb.
it is dumb. It is so dumb. And also, jail doesn't rehabilitate people, it takes them away from their family and their support system. So, putting someone in jail is worse for them than it would be to do some other form. If you actually think someone has a problem, which they usually do not, putting them in jail is not helping.
And
They-
no, it's not. And you know what? Let's talk about therapy for a second, because one could say, well, Jay just doesn't believe in any reprisals for. Okay, I do believe in therapy. I've actually seen therapy sessions and been to some that were really very helpful. Um, a good therapy setting, that's the problem. Sometimes mandatory therapy is just mandatory punishment and then you
yeah,
pay them to get punished. But
yeah,
some therapy is actually useful because your real therapy in psychology has you engage in what were you thinking? Do you see how the way you were behaving is connected to maybe negative feelings, and maybe you were making people uncomfortable, and you start to look into sides of yourself that, you know what, maybe you really needed to look into. And then you spend a lot of time there, and that's really where the work gets done, not in jail and prison.
Yes, absolutely not. Yeah, I mean, people are just stuck in there. They're bored all day. There's no types of therapies even really for them there. I mean, there's some that are mandatory, but they're so generic, not actually helpful.
Well,
Um,
and when you're in jail and prison, you have to be worried about the other inmates. You can't be honest with yourself or anybody
yeah.
else.
And on top
Jail
of
is a
that,
game.
you're taking someone who's already going through something terrible. They mostly aren't allowed outside. So they're not getting sunlight. So that's horrible for their mental health. They don't feed them real food. So their nutrition is horrible. Also terrible for mental health. Like they're just not taking care of these people. Then they want to put them back out in society and they're just like not doing well. Like mentally, physically, they can't get a job, can't find anywhere to live. I mean, the whole system is absolutely horrible and broken.
And if you think general society's nasty, wait till you spend some time in prison,
Yeah.
right? I mean, and then when you get out, it's a different kind of nasty, because you've learned to navigate the bars and the other inmates. And then you come out, and it is shocking, because now, yeah, on the one hand, you're expected just get with the program, but
Yeah.
it actually takes an incredible amount of stamina to try to get back with the program with both arms tied behind your back.
And people constantly putting you down.
Yes.
I don't even know how many times you'd have to go to a job interview and like explain explain your charge,
Oh, I
be
still
shot down.
I still say I have yet to figure out how to explain. I've never figured it out.
Yeah, I couldn't even imagine. I couldn't even imagine.
There's no way to, because, and that's the everybody's situation is so different. So for to throw everybody on the registry for all these different things, we hear about the peeing in public one. I actually was
Oh my
reading an
god.
article. I read an article where a guy was taking a shit in public,
Oh my
and they're
gosh.
accusing him of exposing himself.
Yep. And so is he going to the registry now?
Probably. That is absolutely ridiculous. How do you, like, what does that look like in a therapy session?
But if you do not take accountability for your actions,
This
you
is what
will be
And
punished.
that's what they tell you. And then I had a lady tell me that, she's like, "How many victims do you have?" I was like, I, I, I guess one. She's like, 10,000.
Oh my god. Yeah, that's James went through that therapy too. So this is what's crazy. When he got in trouble when he was a teenager, he had to go through mandatory like sex offender therapy.
Yes.
And um they do some sort of like visual assessment to see like what you like who and what you're attracted to. And
Yes.
the age group was like how it was set up was like 13 to 19 and then 20 to whatever. And when he was doing this, he was 19 and like his age group that like the age that he was the age group that he was attracted to. And they said he has zero risk of reoffending, like he is not a risk. There's nothing he's not attracted to like the wrong age or like he
Most
was fine. He passed
most
everything.
most men are not attracted to the wrong age. The wrong
Yeah.
age, when I hear like a 12, all right, we're in the wrong age.
Yes.
All right. But
But it
when we hear this,
develops.
like, 15-year-olds, I mean, I'm not saying it's good, but come on.
Yes, they're
Fine, do
not.
some therapy, whatever, man. But
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
you do not need to go to prison because she was
No.
15.
And
That's
so
dumb.
you take this man who doesn't have some sort of an issue, um, checked all the boxes, like everything was fine, zero risk of reoffending. He is not a risk to anybody. And he has to spend the next 15 years with this label over his head. gets in trouble again very easily. He could have got in trouble just the same if he would have borrowed my car one day and it wasn't registered. You have to
That
register every vehicle, every email, social media name, where you live. You could get in
so
trouble for everything. And he's taken away. Now my daughter does not have a father. I mean, she will again, but she spent ages 1, 2, and 3 so far without him.
So let's talk about the failure to register again for a minute. For all the wood chippers out there, when you, over the years, when you go in and you give your information, they make changes to what they require. So one year
Yeah.
you go in and, you just give, I don't know, your telephone number, email, address. And then the next year they say, well, where's your vehicle information? And you say, well, it's right here. Okay, well, where's the other vehicle that you've been driving? Well, I didn't bring it in. I didn't know. Well, then you got to leave. And this actually happened. And then I was marked non-compliant for 6 weeks because they kicked me out and wouldn't let me just walk a piece of paper back in. That's a true story.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
no, they're such assholes about it. I literally tried to beg this lady, please let me back in to give you this piece of paper.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It is crazy.
Sorry, my daughter just came down.
No, you're good. Um, I said what I said about the failure to register because it is so easy. And for your husband to go to prison to serve time is so unfair. And
Yeah, it's very unfair. And they took my daughter's father away,
right.
left me as a single mom, and now I have to hold down my house with just me. And I mean that takes a huge strain on me financially. I'm gonna actually bring her back upstairs real quick. I'm so sorry.
You're good. You're okay.
I'll get your money, but look.
So I'll take this time to mention that, hey, wood chippers, you just took a good dad out of a home where the daughter misses him, the wife misses him, but he's in prison because he didn't get the address written down of the job where he worked and blah, blah, blah. And he didn't commit a crime. And if he had committed a crime, you knew where he was because you had the job info, but it wasn't in the right box and it wasn't under the right line and it wasn't signed on the right day at the right time within 24 hours. But here's the good news, America, is that we're going to register several more million people before we fucking fix this. So this podcast is going to run a really long time. You're going to get to hear a lot of stories. And when the registry comes for your kid, I'll be sorry about that, but you'll be a welcome guest on Registered America. So as we finish this up, Julian, I think we really have covered it.
Yeah. And I'd
What?
love to hear your story one time. I don't know if you have a podcast on that as well,
Yeah, well,
because I have so many questions for you too.
I'm sure that's true. One of these days, like I said, I still haven't figured out how to tell my story, but I do know this: the less I say, the more ominous it sounds. But my story, I'm telling you, when the judge said to the prosecutor, "You're not going to register this man," right? And I was looking at the judge. Actually, my ex-wife was looking at the judge, and after when we came out of the room, she goes, "Oh my God." So the judge, can, do his judge thing, right? And my attorney kind of looked at her and looked at me, and he was like, that's not how it works.
No.
No, the judges can't. There's only so much a judge can do.
Oh, and
Even
for
though they
everyone
know.
who's married and you know wants to go out and have drinks and have sex with their wife, if your wife says, "Well, I was drunk and I didn't want to have sex," the next day changed her mind, your own wife, you could go on the registry for sleeping with your own wife if she has any amount of alcohol.
So I think what you're talking about is where we are headed. You know, when I look at what's happening today versus 15 years ago, a lot has changed. And we add another, I don't even think we need to add 15. In another 5 years, the internet is going to be so full of videos of people accusing other people of this and that. And I mean, it is going to be, we're going to have a pretty full registry. And then it's going to change. Once half of America is registered, things are going to get a lot better.
I think that there's a lot of people that would hear our story and a lot of other people's stories and agree with us that this is absolutely insane. But there's not a lot of people that are willing to speak up about it because there is a stigma around it. So a lot of people are too upset and they think, let me just like hang my head in shame and keep going on with how things are.
I agree. And at the same time, and I appreciate Anne and Women Against Registry War, because if anybody can help fix this problem, it's women.
Yeah, I agree. And it needs to be not people like me, like, yeah, my husband is registered,
No, people
but
like you. People like you.
well, people like me, but people that aren't in a relationship with people who are registered. We need more people to speak out, but nobody wants to.
Well, it's gonna be the wives and the mothers. Both wives and mothers they're starting to speak out. They don't know exactly in what
Wow.
way to speak out. And advocacy groups there's more advocacy groups now, but they're small and it's still misunderstood how to make a difference.
Yeah, it is. And I think somehow everyone needs to get together and figure out what we can do to make a change because I don't think it's fair that my husband was a high school kid that just had his life completely ruined, essentially. And I mean, I look at these kids that are, graduating high school. And I'm like, that was my husband, and he was going to court to have his life flipped upside down for something that he did that was consensual. And there's kids that are that age now, and they're like, it's one of the happiest days of their life, and his just started to get hard. And we all made bad decisions or mistakes when we were younger. Um, Probably worse, a lot worse than what he did, but we don't have like the worst thing we ever done on a registry.
That's correct. And there's a mother right now who's about to listen to this, whose son is being accused by his girlfriend and will probably end up on the registry. And that
And
is what's happening.
absolutely, high school kids, that's the love of his life, and it doesn't matter the age won't keep them apart. It could be 1 month, it could be 1 day too young, and he could be spend the rest of his life or a big portion of his life on the registry to where he will not be able to go to college and get a job and have a normal life.
There's a couple high school teens right now sending each other sexy videos, and somebody's going to
Yeah.
share it, and they're going to be accused of distributing child porn.
It could be man, it could be a male or female.
That's
They
correct.
could both be charged
Which
for
is
that. You could have a picture of yourself and that's child
well,
pornography.
and that's what's getting interesting is I think, and I like to cover the news articles about like teachers. There are so many female teachers having
Oh my
sex
god.
with male high school students, and I think we're missing a lot of the picture, which is I believe that there are a significant amount of male high school students that are purposefully trying to see if they can get their teacher to do something, and then it works, and then
Their life is ruined.
and when their mom finds out that they've been chatting with their teacher, they crawl into a hole and they're the victim and the parents take over, and that female teacher has nothing to stand on, even though she remembers 48 hours ago the kid telling her she loves him, he loves her,
Yeah.
back and forth.
And if it is wrong and the other side of
Sure,
like
that's wrong, but
the boy knows that it's wrong, then and he still like pursued it, why is he not in trouble? But
because he's a minor, because he's a victim, and he's gonna hide behind the shield of law. And this is what I get angry about, is that he's protected, he's redacted. We're never gonna know who he is, what he said, what he was doing. Even though they were playing Bonnie and Clyde, he's gonna leave her with the bag.
yeah. And she can't find another job. All that college, student loans, everything. She went to school to be a teacher. She cannot be a teacher. So where's
She,
she gonna work?
she's gonna, yeah, exactly. She's gonna go to prison. She's gonna be registered, and when she gets out, she's gonna have to climb the hill along with the white van stranger danger child molester, and people
Yep.
aren't going to know the difference. And this is actually the final part, is for the public. I know the public wants to know where the sex offenders are, right?
They're
But
your uncles, your grandparents, the people that live with you, not people on the registry. You do not have to be afraid of the people on the registry. It's the people that you know and that are close to you that you want. If you need to be worried about anyone, it would be them. People on the registry are generally very safe.
I couldn't have said it better. Julian, thank you so much for a great interview. I will say a prayer for your husband,
Thank you.
and I appreciate your time, and I hope that this information helps not only you but somebody else. And you have been listening to Registered America podcast. Please do like, share, comment, subscribe. Thank you so much.
Thank you.